We are live on the interwebs. Gentlemen, welcome to Grill the Geeks. For those of you that don't know what Grill the Geeks is, basically, because we can't have boot camp because of COVID-19, this is one of our most popular segments at boot camp. And as we get people going live here, we're going to ask questions to our two geeks, Scott Bossman, Mike Zano. Do you want to introduce our geeks?
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
So our two geeks today are both one-on-one coaching students, Larry Overstreet.
Hello.
Uh, Excited to hear from Larry and Zach Cup.
So
Thank you guys for coming on.
Of course, man. Thank you
You
for
bet.
having us.
So I guess we'll ask. Well, I guess we could start with Larry just about his journey, and then as we go through the questions, we'll have you guys both answer them. So it's like one and then one. It'll be like combined. Is that cool?
Sounds good.
Yep.
Mike Zano,
Yes, sir.
are you ready for this, man?
I'm ready. I got my double espresso. I'm feeling
All right.
pretty good about this.
We got some people joining live. What's up, Jason Hoffman? Okay, so Larry, why don't we start with you? Tell us a little bit about how you found us and your journey with Land Geek.
Sure. So I originally heard about you, Mark, from a podcast, as many people have, and I don't remember what the chain of podcasts, bunny holes that I went down to find it. But this was back in the old podcast days. When it was 5 years ago or something like that, and maybe a couple names ago. And listened to it. It made a lot of sense. Over time, I ended up ordering the toolkit, and that was 5 years ago this past January. I spent a good amount of time kind of devouring that and then starting to mail. Nothing to market yet, so just mailing. And ended up buying 12 properties and selling none. And that kind of was one of those points where I think a lot of people get to where you get a little panicky, and so you stop mailing and try to figure out how to get rid of these properties that you bought and keep your spouse happy and all that kind of stuff. And to her credit, she's very accommodating and tolerant of my little adventure. And so that was all good. But what it did do is it highlighted for me the need to get myself to boot camp, because clearly there was a piece that I was missing on the sales side. So fast forward, I think it was sometime in the summer or fall. It was an Orlando boot camp back then. And so we went to that, met you in person, got some of those clouds lifted, and started to be able to sell properties. At the same time, I owned an IT consulting company with a couple of other guys, and so the land business was always sort of this back burner hobby kind of a thing. Then about a year and a half ago, about 2 years ago, I sold my interest in the company to my two partners, and my wife and I moved into our RV full time, and now we travel around the country and run the land business from the RV. When we did that, we went to the San Antonio boot camp and said, let's crank this up a notch. And so at that point, I went into coaching, I guess for the second time, because I did go into coaching, 5 years ago. But back then there was no flight school, and the coaching program was much more tailored to each student rather than being as thorough and complete maybe as it is now. There's a lot of collateral now that didn't exist back then. And so we decided to go through flight school, because even though we had been buying and selling properties, I knew that there was a lot more that I could learn. And then did coaching, and then spent the last year with Mimi as our coach. Just wrapped that up this month. And it's been a super experience. Sold 2 properties this week, and I think 1 last week. So that's encouraging. That's always kind of a fun thing. I woke up this morning. The last 2 that I sold, I have no idea where they came from. They just showed up at my website, made the down payment, and I couldn't find their name in Facebook or my CRM system or anything. So I don't know if they where they found me from, but it was just kind of funny to see how that happened.
I can't tell you how rare that happens to me, where somebody just like I
Yep.
get like the down payment comes through the email, and I'm like,
Yeah.
they went to the website. I mean, Zaina, when's the last time somebody just went on your website and bought?
Yeah, I don't remember. It's not a very common occurrence, or on my end, anyways.
Yeah, it hasn't been for me either over time, but it's sort of fun when it happens. I guess if you leave enough breadcrumbs out there, people will find you eventually.
Yeah, yeah. All right, great. So, Zach Kep,
Yes.
welcome to Grill the
Thank you.
Geeks. So, unlike Larry, you've never even been to a boot camp yet.
No, I have.
Um,
I have not. I went through the phone cut out there a little bit, but I have gone through flight school, and then I went through the Epic coaching program after flight school. So I'm really excited. I plan on going to the Arizona boot camp, but obviously, I believe that's been now moved to a later date. And then is it at Vegas?
yeah, Hopefully, it'll be Vegas in
Yep.
August.
So then I'll hopefully see you guys there then.
Yeah, let's ask our resident doctor, Larry Overstreet. Larry, what is the probability that you think we're gonna have Vegas boot camp?
Oh, now you're tugging at my heart because I really want it to happen, but I'm not super optimistic about that kind of a time frame. So,
Yeah.
I'm not either until we have
but
testing.
my heart's there.
Yeah,
My heart's there.
my heart's there too. But we'll work on something virtual. So
Yeah.
There you go.
there you go. Okay, so Zach, how did you find Land Geek, and tell us a little bit about your journey?
Yeah, so someone sent me an email this morning reminding me they forwarded my testimonial that I had sent in to you guys for the coaching, and I watched a few minutes of it and I turned it off. I was like, oh my God, this is so long-winded. But my goal in doing that was I wanted it to, as I had said in that video, to be authentic. And I only did one take and I never looked back at it till this morning. So if you have watched that, I'll make this whole introduction less painful. So I was at a real estate conference in Denver, and my wife and I it was for a gentleman named Joe Fairless, who runs something called the Best Ever conference. So I had gone with my wife, and during that time in television, there was kind of a lull in the staffing. And honestly, I was just at this time in my life where I was going to go start another company in a completely unrelated field. And my wife had some investments with this Joe gentleman, and we flew into Denver. And for whatever reason, normally I'm an upbeat, fun guy, but I was having the worst weekend of my life. I didn't want to go in the snow. I had left Iowa to go to California to never see snow again. And I just wasn't in the whole trying to buy condos and houses sort of market. I just wasn't in that mindset. And then, Mark, you ended up being just on a panel there to talk and touch on land. So as soon as Mark started going, I just went wild. I was like, holy smokes, this sings to me, because obviously I've understood the power of real estate intellectually in every form, whether it be from condos, buildings to just vacant land. So this just happened to have been tailored for me and the life that I wanted to create. So I actually read Mark's book twice that day, and I left him an email or something that night. And that's sort of how it began. So now with that, I went into flight school, and then I went into Epic coaching. So flight school was so great, and I 100% recommend, if you guys are going to do this, to make sure to go to flight school first, just to build that foundation so you can accelerate when you enter a coaching program, if that's what you choose to do.
Awesome. And who's your coach, Zach?
It's Tate Litchfield. He's great.
Okay, great. Now you've had some recent success. I know Larry's had recent success. Can you give us a quick story about one of your favorite deals in the last week or two?
In the last week or two? Yeah, I've had a really big 2 weeks. So I've done a few deals in the last couple of weeks. So I've made another investment. So Mark, you're going to hate this, but I decided to start wholesaling, not too long ago. And it's something that of course, we all want to build our passive, but I kind of went on this fun little kick that I gotten in this county, that I found an opportunity to wholesale and flip these properties. So I built up this little nest in this county, and so to that point, my passive is not going to be that good when we start talking about it, but you'll understand why. But anyway, in the last couple of weeks, I've I sold 10 properties wholesale. And then which was a profit of, I made right under 20,000 cash. And then I ended up snagging the great white whale of offers. And that was, I came across a property that was assessed at $59,000. And when we did our title search, we learned that the gentleman paid $168,000 for it. It's on a really nice lake in a beautiful part of the county. And I was like, okay. So I sent all of you guys a message, and I was like, all right, is this the great white whale, or is this like the next hard pass? Like, what am I missing here? And so what I learned was, someone analogized this to when we're panning for gold. We make our living off these singles, these little flakes, and every now and then you'll catch a nugget. So I caught a nugget, and I ended up buying a property for $2,580, and everything went through. It all was good, and now I've got someone who's moving forward who wants to buy it for a quick cash sale of $40,000. And right now I have a realtor begging me not to take it so she can go put it as one of her listings, because she moves a lot of properties in that development. So that was a good deal. And then I had one more deal, 2 days ago, I think. Yes. And I had this property on my shelf. This is the fun part about this business, because when you send out so many offers, you're sometimes going to get, not beautiful gems, we will call them, and they'll sit on your shelf for a while. But there are so many avenues to get rid of your inventory. And when we're buying at this 300 to 500% margin, it's almost fun. It's like, oh, my crappiest lot, like I have a clump of dirt over here. I've got to find a home for it. So I'm always getting creative. My wife is convinced that I'm trying to run for mayor in this county that I'm working in, because I built up all these relationships, and I love it. It's such a fun time. So with that said, so my parents have always done their best to support me growing up, right? And I had an opportunity where this gentleman called me, and he goes, look, my son wants to buy this land from you. I know that it's we've done our research. We know, you seem legit, and here's our situation. I'm a mechanic. I own a car dealership. I'm in this situation. So basically what it was he had a 1978 Stingray, 25th anniversary Corvette. And we did an even up trade. So I called and I did my due diligence, and I sent a guy over there. We checked it all out. And so I called my old man, and I said, hey, you're always reminding me that, you've done so much for me. Why don't, if you're bored, because I have my grandma from Lebanon in at the stuck in my family's house in Iowa for this quarantine. And I said, hey, if you're really wanting to get out of the house, I'll give you this Corvette. And we did. I said, let's partner on it. And if you want to keep it, you can have it. If you want to sell it, you can sell it. So I think it right now is on his way to this halfway across the country. It's a 20-hour drive to go pick up his Corvette. So it is pre-sold if we decide for a good amount of money. So we'll see. I don't want to completely say numbers, but for sure, more than 15,000. And it's just cool. Land just gives you so many different opportunities to just be creative, and an opportunity like that where I was able to give my old man a Corvette. That was for a little piece of land. I was happy with that one. So I had a big month. I had a big one.
That's awesome. That's
big
awesome.
Couple weeks. Yep.
Well, I just want to, before we grow the geeks, I want to just give out a shout out, Schaffmeyer, Shafiq, living the dream, Larry. I want to RV and work on my own terms with my family. Jason Hoffman, stellar journey, Larry. Thanks for sharing. What has it been like working with Mimi? So you can get to that. Tansha says, yes, is our goal to one day live the RV life also. And Zach, don't take offense. These are coming as Larry was talking.
Oh, no problem.
I'm sure you're going to get some love too.
Go warm up Larry this whole thing. That's fine.
Don Pereza, aloha, Don. Hi, Larry. You give back to the community tenfold. I'm so grateful for your support and kindness. And then we've got some questions. So, yeah, Jason Hoffman was saying to you, Zach, this is great. Never a dull day in land, eh? So, right. Scott Bossman, can you read any of the questions, or do you want me to read them?
No, I can read them. So let's see here. Well, let's go back to Larry, and let's ask Larry what it was like. What's it been like working with Mimi, Larry?
Oh, Mimi's great. And I think she was giving us more ideas than I could act on, every 2 weeks. And so, I think the thing that I could have done better is to just do what she said when she said to do it, But super helpful, super knowledgeable, very willing to share, all kinds of information, all kinds of, even some of her own, VAs and things like that were, just really helpful for helping us get started in how to hire a VA, that kind of thing. It's really been a good relationship, and it was also for my wife, Mary Beth. Many of you know her. I think they hit it off really well too, which was super nice, because that made it something that was more that we were able to do as a couple instead of only me.
Nice. Larry, would you say that Mimi has accelerated your success? So,
oh yeah.
If you look back in the year, like how do you think you would have been able to accomplish that in the same amount of time, or would have taken how long? Would you guess?
Oh, I don't. It's really hard to say, Mark, because she pushed us to do things that I just never would have done, or maybe never would have known to do, and so. For example, early on, she was pushing us into Facebook. Early on, she was pushing me to get a CRM system set up instead of trying to just manage everything in emails. And, so those are things that I probably, maybe I would have figured them out eventually. Maybe I wouldn't have. But she really pushed us to take action on those. So, boy, and then because of that, my follow-up became a lot better, and, things that starts the flywheel turning, and once that gets going and gets going faster and faster, every different way that you can push at it, whether it's by better follow-up or with the CRM system or, putting more ads out there or whatever, it's so many things that she did just kept helping us to keep pushing that flywheel forward. I don't know if I would have ever, caught up to where we are, on any reasonable time frame without her help.
Nice. Oh, Zach, Paul Brewer says, love that story, Zach. Thanks for the motivation. What's up,
Thank
Paul
you, Paul.
Brewer? Love seeing Paul Brewer on these Facebook Lives. Scott, what's another Grill the Geek question?
So we got a great question from Jason Mendoza on YouTube. How are both of you handling outsourcing the work? What does your team look like, and how was it formed over time?
Larry, you want to take this one first since you're clearly the fan favorite?
No, you go.
Okay, so I guess I'll have to preface it real quick just so this makes a little more sense with my approach in this business. As I mentioned before, I do have another job that requires a great deal of attention. Now, in translating that to delegation, I happen to also be in a line of work that I work in Los Angeles, and I'm an Iowa farm boy from heart. And land, I'm just going to real quick thread this theme through. Land it's something that just has made me feel so connected in this city and really everywhere, and just being connected to genuine people and having good conversations about their life and about what they're looking for, because it's so incredibly refreshing to have the opportunity to help these people and make deals where, I'm selling, but I'm never selling. I would never go push a product that I didn't believe in. So like for me, it's just such a natural thing. And a lot of people pick up on that because I have a really good track record with my word means everything to me. So I've always done right by people that way. Now, with that said, I certainly throughout coaching, I'm almost done, and I've got it, but there are certain things that I have not delegated on purpose just because of my own, just what it does for me. And that is communicating with the people. And honestly, I was just talking to Tate about this, is about 8, 9, 10 months in, whatever I'm in, I've now reached the point where I'm like, okay, I should have delegated this off a long time ago. So really if you enter these things, you're going to learn how to automate this thing right off the bat. So it's really up to you to decide just how far you want to go with this. And the whole reason I started this company was to make it a machine. And just my own preference has been handling a few different portions of this business. And I'm going to be turning more things over. But yeah, that's my experience. I have 3 VAs, and I pretty much, the last thing I have to turn over is Facebook. I've got, you know, my buddies all on my messenger there. And, you know, I formed good relationships with people. And as a result, I've got a sweet lady who wants to buy each parcel of land for her 10 grandkids. And she lets me do holding deals where I just tell her, hey, I got this property. I'm going to try to go flip it right now. But you want an option to hold. So I always have about 8 to 10 properties that, if I decide not to wholesale during this time, I'm going to, she'll always be picking those up. So I'm trying to think if I answered all the questions there. But yeah, that's it. I mean, Facebook delegation is really the last thing I have to automate.
Yeah. Oh, Jason Hoffman wants to know what Jason Hoffman wants to know what Tate's like.
Oh boy, guys, stay clear of Tate, man. He's a bad guy. No, he's the best. He's the best dude. I mean, the first day we started talking, we clicked, and I was really cognizant of not blurring the lines of professionalism and this, being personal friends. And that lasted 2 weeks, and we're buddies. He's so good. And he's just, and the whole part, like I said, I stress this out so much for everyone listening, is that everyone you see talking here and everyone you communicate with this program, it's just genuine and it's real and it's transparent. And that's, like I've said in my testimonial, that's the only way I can do a line of work is just selling an honest product. And that's what we get to do. So Tate's amazing. He'll push you. And I'm very competitive. So I think he knows how to coach me, and he's very malleable about coaching around different personalities. So when I say, beat me up on this thing, he will beat me up on it, and it's just great. And Tate's a guy I'll be in contact with my whole life.
Yeah, that's amazing. So,
awesome.
And what's funny about the coaching program is that, our clients give us feedback, and we actually take their feedback and improve the program. So Larry Overstreet, I have to give you props, because I was on a call yesterday, because I do coaching check-in calls, and one of our clients is ready for her 12-week year virtual mentorship call, where we evaluate the business, and we want to get you out of a big piece of the business, outsource it, delegate it. And she's like, Mimi's my head coach. I'm like, I know, but Larry Overstreet gave us a great suggestion, which we are now implementing. So on your 12-week virtual mentorship calls, you don't get Mimi, because that relationship, as Zach said, can sometimes, like, Mimi may not say it in a way that maybe Tate would to you, where it's like, you're like, oh, wow. And so we got fresh eyes on these virtual mentorship calls with a different coach, where that relationship doesn't kind of get in the way of just telling you what you need to do. So, yeah, Zach, if we'll do that for you as well.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So Larry, thank you for that suggestion.
You bet.
Scott Bossman, what else we got?
Well, should we let Larry answer that question as well?
Oh yeah, of course.
Larry, how are you handling the outsourcing? What does your team look like?
Yeah. So first thing I outsourced was accounting. I think we all forget about that, but it's really important to do it right. And, Scott Todd has a great course on that. And Mark, I know you've learned a few lessons about doing accounting the wrong way over the years. That's one that we don't talk about a lot, but that was the first thing that I got off my plate, because I knew I wouldn't do it consistently or correctly or, whatever. I have, in addition to that, I have a copywriter who's U.S. based, and she writes really all my ads. Then I have 2 VAs who are Craigslist posters, one VA who is a poster on Landmodo and a couple of other, land kind of sites. And I keep those separate just because it was convenient. The person was available and that, but posting on Craigslist is kind of its own quirky little thing. And then I've got another VA that does not exactly intake, but kind of in that space, kind of property research on accepted offers, pulls together a lot of the information that I need for that. And I think that's it. I don't have anybody on the sales side. I also, Zach, don't have anybody doing Facebook for me. That still feels a little bit weird to have somebody else in my Facebook account. So,
Sure.
I'll just have to come to terms with that, because I really don't like responding to, is this still available?
Oh, I've reached my breaking point this week. I told Tate during my call, I go, hey man, I don't know what I was trying to prove to myself, but yeah, this is just getting too much, because land for me has just become I'm obsessed in, let's just say, a very healthy way. Okay. Or maybe not, because this example is not healthy, but it's not healthy at all. So I will wake up at 2 a.m, and if I have to use the restroom and I see a Facebook Messenger is still available, I still, my brain lights up, and I send the information, I personalize it. And, I've done that 8,000 times now. And it was my own choice, right? In coaching, you learn, if you want to get that delegated, just get it delegated. You learn how to do it. So if your VA is up and leave, you're powerful. You know the ins and outs of your business. But yeah, that was just, I hear you on that one, Larry. It's Is this still available? That's a tough one.
One other thing, one part of the question there, just real quick, was how did we delegate? Not only what we delegated. And I've started using Fleek, which is a tool that I think Scott Todd originally brought to my attention. But I've been putting Fleek videos together, and my VAs seem to really like that. And so, they can go back and watch it a bunch of times, and, it's not that hard to update if I need to later. So that's a tool that I've been happy with and continuing to use.
So I've been playing with Fleek, Larry. So do you use the AI portion of it, where you just do the screenshots and then it reads it to the VA?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Really cool. Okay.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Larry. I got another question for you guys from, let's see. Oh, Paul Brewer. What was the biggest challenge you encountered during coaching, and how did coaching help you solve it? Ooh, that's a good one.
Larry, you want to get this one first?
Go ahead.
Okay. The biggest challenge in coaching, that is a good one. Actually, Scott, was there a two-parter to that? It kind of.
What's biggest challenge you encountered during coaching, and how did coaching help you solve that problem?
Sure. Okay, so we'll go backward on this. So coaching, essentially, what you're going to learn about this entire business is that it's all problem solving, right? You use this chop wood mentality of just solving a problem after a problem. And honestly, as overwhelming as these problems may seem off the bat for someone who's new to learning this business, you're like, I have to use 4 different softwares to do all of that. What you'll learn that'll translate to everything is just one foot in front of the other, chop wood, and you'd be amazing how much you can get done in this business during the duration of just one song. So my biggest challenge now with coaching was, it was myself. There were certain things that I took my time on because I was simply having so much fun. And I made a really big goal, a cash goal, to pay for my entire coaching in cash. So that sort of leads into this, as well as make another big investment. So that's why right now I'm now focusing more on the wholesaling model, but we'll jump back. How coaching as a whole just helps you solve problems, because not everyone on this call probably has every answer, right? But what we do have is a tight-knit network of people who will always help you. So if I ask Tate a question, he goes, I actually don't know that. One sec. Within 15 minutes, I'll be on the phone with Mimi, and the problem will be solved. So really, it just comes down to essential problem solving. And coaching, if you feel like you're not a confident human being or something, or you're trepidatious, you're overwhelmed, coaching will give you a lot of life skills that translate into just everything, and seeing how the world works. And just like I said, the power of getting so much work done in just the duration of one song in this business, it's incredible. So overwhelmed, and then learning how to control that, and that coaching will ease me into it with its utilization of all the resources.
Nice. Larry?
I think, despite what I said about Facebook a moment ago, I think one of the big problems that I had in Zach, like you were saying, it was myself, okay, but it was being willing to let go of things. And so when I started coaching, I was posting all my own Craigslist ads. That's stupid, Yeah. Nobody should do that. And so that was the first thing that Mimi, really started clobbering at me about, is like, you don't need to do that. And right. I remember the first few days after getting somebody up and running and, actually posting for me, when I, grabbed my coffee in the morning and realized I don't have to post ads today. They're just happening. It was just, it was eye-opening, and such a relief. And that gave me the time to move on to the next thing. And then, getting rid of, some other tasks related to intake or whatever. It was just that ability to say, it's okay if it's not done exactly the way I would do, or if there's an occasional mistake, because we're doing volume here, and if there's a misspelling somewhere, if there's something else that, that I would stress over personally, it's like, it's okay. You can, just let those things go, let somebody else do that, coach them. If there's a kind of a consistent thing that needs to be different, but just let go of those things. And that was really hard for me to do, in part because in a lot of the processes, I was making decisions on the fly. So I was writing the ad copy on the fly, and I was, choosing my pricing. Is this ad going to have the down payment as the price, or is it going to have the total price as the price? Or just dumb stuff like that, where I was making decisions in the middle of executing the process. And I had to get my head in a different place to where, if I was going to make those decisions, fine, but I had to make those all ahead of time and put them in, a Google sheet or something, where for the other person, it was just a copy and paste, exercise. And that's a different way of working. And, all of a sudden if you think about it, the workflow as a flow chart, steps get moved around, and it's not, there's a little bit of pain in doing that. But that, I think that idea of making the process such that it can be handed off. And if I need to make decisions, or I feel like I do, or I'm not quite ready to let go of that decision yet, fine. But that doesn't mean I have to hold on to the whole process either.
Awesome. Great question. Scott Bossman. I feel like Mike Zano is just so quiet, sitting back there like the Zen master. Like, he's like meditating back there. He's like, yes.
I'm enjoying this. I mean, especially with that, that podcast voice that Larry has. It just lulls you into a state of meditation.
Yeah, that's true.
He looks so distinguished today too, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's my hunker down haircut right there.
We got another question from Jason on YouTube. This is a good one too. What are your 3 to 5 favorite tools, such as Fleek, in your business at this time? How does it help your business or affect your business? So give us a few tools that you really rely on.
I would suggest looking into Trello. Trello is a very good tool that will keep you can kind of customize your organization pretty well that way. And it's the same sort of software, Airtable, very similar, which allows you to organize in different parts of your business. Thing like Trello, if you look it up, I don't exactly know what service it would be called, but it's really good when it comes to communicating with your VAs. So, and then this is incredibly boring, but and very obvious. But cruising Google Earth is a big thing for me. I know what I enjoy, and I'm able to kind of fly over counties, and I kind of know what catches my eye and sort of what my buyers list wants. So yeah, I do take full advantage of just cruising the country with Google Earth.
Cool. I would be remiss if I didn't say LG Pass and GeekPay.
Oh, there you Overstreet. Flattery will get you everywhere.
But beyond those, I mentioned before for CRM we use HubSpot. I don't know that there's anything magical about it, but it's just it was an easy one to get started with, and so far it's worked for me. We also spend a ton of time in Google Earth, so that's just a really for me it's a really helpful tool to use. Even when I'm thinking about what features I want to have copy written about a property. It's close to this reservoir, or it's by that lake, or it's by that river, or here's a 14er that's in your backyard or whatever. It just helps you see that stuff, and then my copywriter can take those things and run with them. Let's see what else. Where else do I spend my time? I'm just looking at my bar up here. Google Sheets, Airtable. Some of those kinds of tools are super helpful, super useful. Sign Now for documents, getting them signed and sent out and returned. That's probably where I spend most of my time.
I do have one thing to interject if I can.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the power of a digital mailbox has totally shifted almost the way I look at everything. If you use, there's a great service called ShipRite, RITE, that allows you a digital mailbox. So when you're blasting all your offers out in a situation like this, I have a PO box. I live on one side of Los Angeles and my PO box is in the other. So I have to, drive 40 minutes essentially to get there, depending on what time of day. And nothing sucks worse than driving 40 minutes. And, you get maybe 5 of those returned, sender not found, back. And, or you get, you offer 2,500 and some reasonable human being counters you at 198 million. I've had those. The digital mailbox it's so cool.
Yeah. So we're full-time RVers and we've used a digital mailbox for a long time now. But yeah, to be able to see the envelopes and say, scan the inside of that one for me because it's a handwritten, what looks like a response from a potential seller. That's a good one. Yep. Good call.
Nice.
Awesome. What about Simplifile? You guys like Simplifile, right?
Oh yeah.
Gosh, this is where I'm making actually my second shift, man. There's been something in that county that I've worked in. I know all the ladies there. So when I call in, they're always helpful. So when I go talk to these random people on Facebook I don't know, I'm just like, call Tracy at the county. She'll verify that I'm a real human being. And not only am I a real human being, I'm a good human being. And I've got 30 properties there, and she's talked to half of them. So I'm a huge pain in her butt that way. But, I'll send them all nice things on every now and then into the county. So they like me.
Good.
Sometimes.
Nice.
Awesome.
Nice. Scott Boston, what other questions?
Yeah. So here's a good one. Oh, this is a good one. This is from David Lamantia. And from buying and selling one piece of property, what would you estimate is the fixed cost? So your mailing, ads, VAs, etc. Could you estimate on one property what that might cost? That might be, I don't know.
Do you? I mean, Scott, do you just want to say a random what this imaginary property might look like, and then I can just give you a hypothetical?
Well, I think. Scott, I think what most people want to know is what's your fixed overhead in this business between the software, your VAs. Everyone wants to know how much are you spending a month just on your fixed expenses.
Oh, okay. I apologize. The phone's cracking out. I'm very cheap. That way, my cost is very cheap. I think I'm a few $100. I mean, and that's a month. Oh, did you say mailing? I mean, the phone was cracking out.
I think mailing is more like an investment. I consider that an expense, but just your expenses, your fixed expenses, and also mailing is variable because some people can do 100 a week, other people might do 200 a week. So it's different for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I'm running a little under 300 a month.
All right. Larry, how about you?
I'm somewhat over that. I'm guessing it's probably So if I include VAs and posting ads on Craigslist and all that kind of stuff, I'm probably closer to $1,000 a month. But that maybe include, I don't know if that's the right circle of things to include.
It definitely is.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think based on all our clients, the average is about $1,000 a month, I would say.
Okay.
Some people are a little under, some people are a little over, some people are super frugal like Zach, which is, probably a problem actually, because he's probably doing too much in the business. I call it the Detmer syndrome. Like, remember, like at boot camp, like Detmer's like, I love paper and I like stuffing envelopes because he's in the printing business. I'm like, oh my gosh. Well, if you love doing it, okay. But
all right, Jeff.
Probably a better use of time.
What's exciting about that is, and I think that what has allowed me to consciously do all that extra stuff was simply at that time, it was serving more as a cathartic exercise for me to stay grounded to normal humans outside of Hollywood. I mean, so this coaching, I mean, within 3 weeks, I knew how to automate the entire thing. So what may seem daunting right now for me to delegate, it's 2 emails. It's 2 emails, and I just freed myself up 15 hours a week. So, it's just the power of the tools that you learn in this program.
Nice. What else we got?
Awesome. All right, so here's a comment, and it'll be good to hear from you guys because I think people have heard this answer from Mark and myself and Mike Zeno a lot and others. But this is from Jeanette Cormier on YouTube. It seems like a lot of people are doing this. Do you find yourself competing with other land investors, and does the market get saturated?
That's a good question. And it's one of my favorite things to explain to people who, when I'm talking to them, whether I'm selling them land or talking to them about my business, this is actually my favorite thing to talk about. And I will just quickly put this story in, which will answer that question. So I just sold a bundle to a new land geeker, a wholesale bundle, and he was able to bulk up his shelf right away. And can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, my phone's going blank. Can you tell me the first part of that question? Of course, my neuroses has to jump to the last part.
No, it's okay. It seems like a lot of people are doing this. So can you speak to, do you find competition with other land investors in the market saturated?
Okay, so I sold this bundle to a guy who works in the next property over from me, from what I have. I sold him in the exact same county, and I said, here's my resources. Here's everything you need. Blast it. Now, with that, there is so much land in the entire world. I can sell to my competitor at an adjacent neighboring lot, and I'm excited. It's really important, I think, in this business and really just in life to be open and surrendered. And, you can't kind of grab on to everything and be so afraid of this competition. And it's fun for me. I give this guy my video and drone information. I'm like, I better step it up right now because this guy's about to post a really good piece of property here. And I will sell. No, the competition is, it's as much as you make it. And really the only person you need to compete with is yourself, and just roll.
Larry, how about you?
Yeah, I don't view any of the land geek community as competition. We're all doing, similar things, and many of us are in the same counties. I know that I get offers on properties that I own from other land geekers, who haven't figured out yet that maybe pulling out companies with land in their name might be a good thing, but not because it really matters, but save the stamp for a potential customer or whatever. But the people on my mailing list are different than the people on Zach's mailing list, and the people that I'm going to hit in a Facebook group are different than the people that you're going to hit on a different day, even if it's the same Facebook group, the same marketplace group or whatever. Yeah. The people who, are flipping through Landmodo on a Saturday night because they're bored, are going to be different one day than the next. And that's just on the customer side. On the sales, or on the buying side, if I'm buying property from somebody, I know that they're getting multiple offers because I get multiple offers. on properties. But one day, for whatever reason, it's going to be the right day, and they're going to say yes. And it doesn't have to be because my price is better. It might be. I've had people who say, I'd love to sell you my land, but I've got this other offer for $500 more. And usually I just say, that's, I know my numbers in that county. That's a really good offer. You should take it.
Yeah, that's a good feeling.
And probably, I say, but if it doesn't work out for whatever reason, keep my info, call me back. We can pick it up where we left off. Almost invariably, a week or two later, I get a call back and we pick it up where we left off. And I don't know if that's because they were bluffing or because it really didn't work out or whatever, but it's just, I've never had a problem acquiring properties. So I don't believe that there's any significant competition in acquiring properties that's ever going to affect me. And I don't have a problem in selling properties. So I don't believe there's any competition that's significant enough that it's going to affect me.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I first started out, I said to my wife at one point, I'm like, this is not going to last. I'm like, these margins, coming from an investment banking background, I'm like, these margins are unsustainable because as more people come into the market, there's going to be more competition. It's naturally just going to drive the prices up and just squeeze margins. I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm like, the best this is going to be is about a 30%, gross margin business. How wrong was I?
Very wrong.
The market is so inefficient. I mean, we're still averaging the same margins of 300 to 1,000% all day long. Am I exaggerating?
Not at all.
No.
And Mark, to that point, and with this new land geeker who I sold a bundle to yesterday, I knew what he was going through. It was a new county, and I go, hey, I'm going to tell you exactly what I paid for some of these things, and I'm going to show you that I'm going to be making. And I explained to him the disdain on this wholesale approach, but I've learned to, I like it. But I was like, why it doesn't make sense? And I'm like, if I make a couple grand off you, I can, or let's say I make $1,000 to a couple grand off you, you're gonna make, I can say with almost all of the certainty that I have, unless you do something wrong and don't follow the coaching formula or don't listen to the resources, that you'll make $13,000, $14,000 pretty easily. And it was a very cool moment, I think, for him to get it, and for just me to be like, hey, in a few months when I free up some cash on another big property I bought, I was like, I can buy these back from you if you don't want. And it's just like, no, we're good. And it was really cool for him to jumpstart his coaching with 8 properties at a good price. And not only was I selling that to him to the point of competition, but I'm forwarding him my Facebook leads, and he's already sold a couple, and
good,
or he's about to anyway. So anyway, yeah.
All right. Well, how do you guys feel on the grill? Is it having fun with it?
Yeah, I've got a little delay in the sound, so I keep being nervous that I'm missing things. So I apologize if I'm not answering questions fully. But yeah, I've got a lag in my feed.
No. Larry, you're a pro at the Grill of the Geeks.
Oh.
So.
I don't know about that.
I think it's probably a little less intimidating, isn't it? Because you're not standing in front of 75 people.
Yeah, it is. It is nice to only have the 5 of us here in a small little room together.
Yeah, and then and me throwing the mic in your face, Larry. Yeah.
Right.
What else we got, Scott Bossman?
We got a lot of questions coming in. All right, so do you stick with certain size parcels or get generally what is available in the area you choose?
It's a good question too. I send my VA out, and he knows what I'm after. And a really good thing that I would recommend anybody doing, I don't know if it's free mark or not, but Tate wrote a really cool ebook called, I think, The Art of the Sale or The Art of the Close. I think it's like 10 pages, but it really highlights what we're after with our marketing. And those are different different consumers and the different demographics. So I'm able to get a list, and my guy kind of knows that not only will I be perfect. I will be marketing this to 5 different people, but I have a list of people who for sure want these, and these. So, yeah, I teach him what I'm after, and he'll bring it, and I'll kind of look over his list and double check APNs, and yeah, I'm kind of all over the board. From I bought 0.27 acres to I don't know. I maybe did a 40 acre in Nevada.
Okay.
What about you, Larry?
I'm a little bit more boring. Although the property I sold today was a 1/4 acre in Florida, which is not my normal thing, but I had picked it up from another land geeker, and so that turned out good for him, turned out good for me. I think within an area, like if I'm working, I'm right now actively working in probably 3 counties, and then I have property in maybe a couple of others, kind of left over or whatever. But usually when I'm mailing, I'll be mailing in an area, in a subdivision, maybe even in just 1 unit or a couple of units. And in that case, in the counties that I'm in, at least, a lot of times those properties look really cookie cutter, so it's like, here's an area where everything's 2.5 acres, or here's an area where everything's 5 acres or 10 or whatever. And so for any given mailing, I'm usually sticking with the same size. It makes pricing easier and that kind of thing. But over time, across mailings, I'll end up with, different sizes and, whatever.
Uh-oh. Are we good? Oh, I thought we cut out.
All right.
All right. So
Yeah.
Mark, do you have anything to say about that? I think it almost comes down to, I think a lot of times it comes down to more like, what's your bread and butter price point versus what's your bread and butter size?
Yeah, I'm totally agnostic about size.
Yeah.
I'm really more interested, can I buy any asset 30 cents the dollar? The asset I just happen to love is raw land, because nothing to maintain, nothing to protect. How often are we getting calls at 3 a.m, my land's leaking, can you come by and fix it? I mean,
exactly.
It's so, there's so many advantages to just shuffling paper and making money and being 100% virtual with it. But at the end of the day, I think we'll all agree we make our money on the buy.
Yep.
And so do I care if it's a postage stamp or, a 640 acre section? I really don't.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Zeno, what's so funny?
No, I was just thinking, it's, to me, I like analogies. I was thinking it's like going out to eat, Mark. You go to a buffet, right? And, you get everything there. This, like, you could shop this country for all the land you want, literally. Or you might say, geez, I really like Chinese or Indian or whatever it might be. And you could, you find a specific area in the country, a specific subdivision, and, we know people that do that, right? They find that bread and butter area and they just go there every night. It's like, I'm having sushi every night and I love it. I'm fine. And you're like, yeah, I'm going to go to the buffet. I'm going to grab a little Italian, a little Chinese. There's that much land out there, so you have the option. And there's, I guess you could look at advantages, disadvantages, but at the end of the day, what you're saying is right. I mean, there's plenty of land to be had at an incredible price.
Yeah, I think there's a book out there called The Tao of Pooh. Have you guys heard about this book? The Tao. Did you read it, Larry?
No, but it's on my list.
Okay, Zach, did you read The Tao of Pooh?
I listened to part of it. I have it in the other room, but I'm not the entire thing.
Anyways, I haven't read it, but it just reminds me of like Winnie the Pooh. Like, you go into that county, and you just become Winnie the Pooh, and just eat as much of the honey as you can. And if the honey pot continues and continues and continues, get fat and happy. Like, don't stop. But people get bored of it. They're like, oh, maybe there's better honey over here. Like, no, keep eating.
Yeah.
So, human
That's
nature.
awesome.
How are we doing time-wise, Scott?
We got a bunch of questions still.
I've got all the time you guys have, all you need, so we can go through all these if you want.
Let's hit a couple more, and then we still have to do our giveaway as well. So anybody who's made a comment this week on any of our live videos, I got your name in a virtual hat here on my phone. We're going to draw a name for a 1997 credit to LandGeek.
Yeah, and if we don't get to all the questions, you guys can always hook up with Zach directly or Larry directly and ask them some direct questions.
If you
they're
guys
not hard
need
to
me
find.
if you guys need me to stay on this call, I can answer those questions or whatever you need. But yeah, reach out at any time. Seriously, we're all here to help.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, let's do one last one here, and then so Brian McClatchy, another coaching client, says, now that you have your system set up, how many offers do you typically mail a week to hit your sales goals? So where are you guys at with that?
Well, because I'm rolling this wholesale model and having a little fun, I'm sending a lot of offers out there, and it's not going to be sustainable in the long term, which I understand. But given the situation that we're all facing, I'm sending out between maybe 1,500 a month, I think, and 1,700 a month, I would say. And I did that last month, so this would be my second time. And I know for a fact I'm going to drop back down to what is reasonable, because I mean, I was running out of cash. I mean, I was fortunate enough I didn't know, obviously, when I sent these out. This was kind of just coincidence, but I sent out 2,000 offers 2 days before Corona hit mainstream. And I mean, I'll go the rest of my life, no matter what happens. I'll never forget that few days. Like I couldn't believe it. I was selling offer letters to people. So to answer that, right now it's high. I think a safe number is 800. I think that's an aggressive, good, sweet spot to where you're kind of playing, it's a manageable cat and mouse game with your cash flow. What do you guys think, actually? I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
What about you, Larry? Where are you at right now with mail?
It varies. I'm targeting, typically I'll start, from a county list, I'll start with about 250 names, and then you eliminate duplicates, you eliminate, if you don't want to send to LLCs, or, every person has their own, things that they kind of yanked off the list. And sometimes there's just a convenient place to stop because you're at the end of a subdivision. Yeah. And so for this week, I'm just going to stop at the end of Desert Shadows, or whatever. And so, having pulled those out, I'm hoping to be in the neighborhood of, 180 to 200 a week. And so, yeah, in the 600 to 800 a month, range is probably where I want to be for right now.
Awesome. Yeah, so we only have a few minutes left, Scott Bossman.
Yeah, so I think, do you want to throw that comment up by Jason Hoffman? I think that's kind of a cool comment.
Where is it?
It's way at the bottom. He says he loves this whole sense of systematic volume approach that's crafted by hard work, consistency, delegation, and automation, but also having fun and connecting with others. And the rarest of all, being able to truly take care of yourself personally. I'm starting to see a pattern here. Just awesome.
That's great.
Yeah, that's a really great way to sort of end the segment. Because that's really what we do. And I think, the whole idea of the coaching program is that we want to build this machine so that you're working on your business and not in your business. And, for some people, it takes more than a year to get it up and going. For others, they can, they kind of get it out of their own way quicker. But at the end of it, that's really what the goal is. But what's awesome about the program now is that there's something for you right after you graduate your coaching program in the boardroom, which I'm really excited about. Because the boardroom then, it transitions you from one-on-one coaching to 4 other land geeks that have been through the coaching program, are in a similar place as you, and they're your board of directors. And you have this really intense 2.5 day mastermind at the Coaches City live, and you share everything with them, and then you meet virtually. And to have that intimate relationship with people that care about your business, understand your business, and are able to sort of help you get out of your own way, we think is going to be invaluable. We did our first one in Tampa, and it was great. So I'm very excited for you guys to learn more about the boardroom with Scott and Mike.
Awesome. All right, I have our winner here.
Oh, fantastic.
Ready? So again, this is for a credit for $1,997 toward either the toolkit, or if you already have the toolkit, toward flight school, or if you've already been through flight school, toward coaching. Pretty awesome. You ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. See if you can read that. I don't know.
Ken Badziak.
Ken
Ken.
Badziak.
All right.
Ken, congrats. See? Pays to be on these Facebook Lives. Leave a comment. Ken, I hope you're feeling the love. Congratulations. That's awesome.
Awesome.
So we'll reach out to Ken. Get him set up. And do all that. So, guys, this is really great. I want to thank Larry, Zach, Scott, Mike for spending this time with us and really giving everybody an inside look in your business. And I think it's great. I wish we could have done this, in Phoenix, in a big group together. But the fact that we can do this virtually is incredible. And I hope everybody got a lot of value out of it. Again, I know there's been a ton of questions we didn't get to, but if you want to reach out to Zach and Larry are open to answering your questions directly on the interwebs. What's the best way to get to touch base with you guys?
Let's see. You can send to this email address. Send to, and then my last name, KOEPP@gmail.com. So that's SENDTOKOEPP@gmail.com. And yeah, guys, I'm really passionate about sharing this with you. Anything you need. I mean, that's a mistake that people will sometimes make in getting in their own way. They'll be nervous about asking questions and stuff, but there's, like we said, we're transparent, and I will spend all the time with you need.
Yeah, I mean, plus, I think it's hard to be direct when I'm on the call. Somebody might ask, "Does coaching suck?" Right?
Sure.
And you're less likely to be like, "Yeah, it was the worst thing ever," because I'm on the call. But then you're like, "Yeah, I'll give you the real scoop directly." Larry, What's the best way to get a hold of you?
Just hit me up in the Facebook group. I'm, like you say, more than happy to help and share any thoughts or ideas or whatever that I can.
Awesome. Well, guys, thanks again.
Thank you, guys.
For everybody who's been on here live, thank you. Spending your time. Hope everyone is staying sane, staying safe in quarantine. And let's all do this together. Even though we can't hear you, I really want you to do it. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Let
freedom ring.
Freedom ring. And wash your hands.
I thought you were going to say Carol Baskin for some reason.
And did Carol kill her husband? Yes or no?
No.
Mike, you're the only one on the round table that said no. Scott and I are definitely yes.
Who are you guys talking about?
From Tiger King. Zach's been so busy the last 2 weeks selling property, he doesn't even watch Netflix.
That's it. Oh.
Well,
thank you. Yeah, I lost you on that one, but thank you so much, guys. And can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for listening. Thank you guys for having me on. Reach out anytime. I'm here to help.
Thank you so much, Zach. Thank you, Larry. Larry, I'm sure you're probably going to go drink some coffee now. I was talking about you. I'm like, you think I like coffee? Larry is see? There it is. Is a fiend. So thanks, guys. And then Zen Master, Nightcap OG, thank you guys. Have a great weekend too. So we'll see everybody back on Monday. I'm really feeling the pressure to continue not breaking the streak on these Facebook Lives. So, I need some encouragement. I don't know what it is.
Keep them going, man.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. If you guys have questions about coaching, about flight school, about the toolkit, about anything land related, just go to landgeek.com/training. Schedule a call with the Nightcap OG or the Zen Master. They'll give you the straight scoop, and of course, reach out to our other land geeks as well. They'll give it to you. Thanks, everybody. Thanks,
Thank you.
and we'll see
Take
everybody
care.
Monday, hopefully.
Right.